Strangers don't fare well in these parts. You make sure you lock your doors.
What?
What the hell's going on, David? It's dark.
What the hell is this place?
What? What?
I think we should go now.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some E-I-E-I-O. Here, there, everywhere.
We're in a creepy house in the middle of nowhere. What do you think is going to be down there?
Old MacDonald had a E-I-E-I-O.
There we go. Hang on. Nearly forgot to unmute myself. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. I've not got my togs on this week because it's blooming warm. It's blooming. I've got my little air conditioning unit going here, so it's keeping me a little bit cooler. Hopefully you can't hear it. Right, so that was the trailer for The Cottage. Le Cottage. A British film. Windgrace is here already. Brian must suffer. Must it? I don't know. Who's O'Brien? Do you mean Miles O'Brien from Deep Space Nine? What's he got to do with this? I don't know. But okay. And Joshua, hello Joshua. Looks fun. Never heard of this before. You brought it up. It's a cool film. And we're going to have a look at it. Neither have I, says Wingray, because it's a British film. I don't think many people have heard of it, to be honest. It's very British. As I said, it's called The Cottage. Let me get rid of that. There we go. And get rid of that. It's called The Cottage. It made in 2008. What else? I'm trying to think. Hang on. Let me put this full screen. I'm all a dither because it's too blooming warm. There we go. The first guy speaking in the trailer sounded like Colin Meaney. Is that fair enough? Didn't to me, but I think it was the first guy you hear in the trailer. I think it's Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead. He's in this film. Played Pinhead in Hellraiser. So anyway. So it's The Cottage. It was made in 2008. Let's get the details before we start. Written and directed by Paul Andrew Williams, who I've never heard of. And I don't know anything he's done since. I've looked him up on IMDb. He's done a lot of TV since this. But he's a British writer-director. Stars Andy Serkis, Gollum, obviously. Reese Shearsmith, who's a genius, in my opinion. Him and Steve Pemberton created The League of Gentlemen and Inside Number 9. Brilliant series on the BBC. Also stars Steve O'Donnell, who you may know as Spud Gun. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. And Jennifer Ellison as the bit of glamour for the film. And there's a few other people in as well. Right, so it was filmed, apparently it had a budget of $5 million and it made worldwide about $1.5 million. So it lost money. So it didn't do well. That's probably why nobody's ever heard of it, except for me. What else? What else can I think of from my research when I started? All right, we're filmed on the Isle of Man. I've watched it today. I watched it twice today. I watched it. Watched the film, once way through on my DVD. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't find the Blu-ray for some reason. I was going to buy the Blu-ray, and I thought, I'll watch it in high definition. I couldn't find it, but I found a DVD. What was I saying? It was filmed on the Isle of Man, which is a lovely part of the world. I've been once, and Wingray says, I thought that was Anna Faris at first. You mean Jennifer Ellison? You mean her there? No, it's Jennifer Ellison, who you may know from, I think, a most famous role, I suppose. The biggest thing she's been in, apart from this, is she was in the Phantom of the Opera, the musical version, the movie one with Gerard Butler as the Phantom. She was in that briefly, I think, at the beginning. I don't know, I've not watched it all the way through. She was in that, but she's most famous in the UK. She was in a soap opera called Hollyoaks, which I've never seen. I've never watched it, but she was from that. And then she had a career as a singer as well. But I don't know much about her, to be honest. Apart from she's proper fit. Anyway. Right, so where else? Oh, right, filmed with the Isle of Man, lovely part of the world. We also filmed, parts of it were filmed in Yorkshire. Yay! And some other parts were filmed in a forest off the M25, which is a motorway that forms a ring around London. It's like the London Ring Road. It's a motorway, the M25. So, but it was mostly filmed on the Isle of Man. I went to the Isle of Man once with my son Aidan when he was a kid. I don't know how old he was. Maybe his early teens. Maybe I can't remember. And we thought, we'll go to the Isle of Man because we'd never been. He were always when he were younger, we were always asking for places to go. He never wants to go anywhere now, but when he were younger, we always wanted to go to new places. So we've been to like Scotland and Wales. We can't go abroad, proper abroad, but we went to Scotland and Wales and places like that. And I thought we'll go to the Isle of Man. He's here again. He's at it again. Look, Winggrace and his alter ego, Archmage Frey. So we do see them in the same room at the same time. So they can't be the same person. Where were we? Oh, yes, the Isle of Man. So I thought we'll go to the Isle of Man. You go on a ferry. You can go on a plane as well, but we're not rich. So we went on a ferry, one that you can drive your car on, them sort of ferries. A big one, though, like a ferry with a restaurant on and stuff. Not like that ferry you see on Jaws. It just fits one car. A big ferry. So we went to there, and the Isle of Man. It's a little island in the Irish Sea. It's only tiny. It's about 20 miles long, if that. You can drive around it in like an hour, if less than that, 45 minutes. So it's teeny tiny. And so I thought we'd go there. So we went to the ferry, and the Isle of Man is technically it's an independent country. It's a British it's a Crown Protectorate, if I can say it. But it's technically an independent country, and it's got the oldest parliament in the world, apparently. But because it's another country, technically, it's got customs. You've got to go through customs, where you don't need a passport, but they check everything before you get on the ferry. They check your car, and they look under it, with mirrors and stuff to make sure you're not like going to blow something up. Anyway, they were doing that, and they were checking in the boot and stuff. And Aidan, my son Aidan, love him, suddenly shouts out, "Look out, he's got a gun." And I'm like, "Ah!" And luckily, the customs officers, they recognised, Aidan, his special need. He was special needs, well, he still is. Aidan, he was autistic with special needs. So he just, usually just blurts things out. And he did that time. He blurted the wrong thing out. But luckily, they didn't grab me and strip search me or lock me in prison or anything like that. They laughed about it and let us through. And I didn't have a gun. And we had a lovely time on the Isle of Man. It's where they do the famous TT races, the time trial motorbike races, where somebody dies every year. So we drove around that route, the mountain course and all that. And it was a lovely time. I'd love to go again, but I don't think Aidan would want to go. Anyway, right, before we start, we've got some chats to get through. Joshua says, popping round Nightcrawler, eh? Yes, that's Archmage Frey and Winggrace. That's what he does. What's the word? What's the word they use? For Nightcrawler when he they put a word on in the comics, don't they? When he appears, whoop or something like that. I don't know. Isn't that where Grabbers was filmed? I'm not sure. That might have been Ireland. I think it was an Irish film, wasn't it? But it could have been the Isle of Man. I don't know. I think is that the one where they had to stay drunk to avoid being eaten by the monsters. I think that's the one, isn't it? Windgrace is always talking to Joshua. Yes, and I love how Geordie and Data science Nightcrawler's powers in the X-Men TNG crossover novel. Unbelievable. East Stephen, if that had happened in more recent days, it would have been terrible. Yes, I'd have been at bloody Guantanamo Bay or something like that. It was actually not that long ago, but after 9/11 and all that. Banff, that's the word. Banff means something else according to Dane Cook, does it? I don't know. I wouldn't know. Right, let's get on with this film. Right, here we go. Add to stream. There we go. Isle of Man film. So it's telling you from the get-go that it's an Isle of Man film. Is that going to play? Yes, it is. So we'll stop that. Right, so off we go. Are you going to start? There we go. And Screen Yorkshire. Yay! Present. A Steel Mill Pictures production. It's been bloody slow, is this, isn't it? Come on there. A Paul Andrew Williams film. We don't get any. I don't think we get any credits at the beginning. I don't think, or maybe we do. I can't remember. It'll make me a liar. I bet we do. I think we just get the cast. We don't get a directed by and all that. I think all that comes at the end. But I think we learn who's in it. It starts off anyway with a moth, which is important. It would have been if it stayed on it a bit. Crying out loud. There we go. A moth. A Batman moth. With Danny Elfman music we need, don't we? So it starts off with that. Moths are kind of important to the plot a couple of times. One of the characters, the Reese Shearsmith character, let's go back again, is terrified of moths. And I can't remember what it is, motodophobia or something like that it's called. I don't know. And he's terrified of moths. Mothman Prophecies. Which is a good film. It's not brilliant, but it's a good film. It's spooky. Right, we see a car driving down a country lane. This is all CG, apparently. There's quite a lot of CG in this film. I watched it with I watched it once, and then I watched it with the director's commentary, and he kept saying, "Oh, that's CG and that's CG," and it surprised me for a low budget film, but a lot of CG blood, and some CG touching ups and CG composites and stuff like that. Anyway, so with this car's going down this country lane. Oh yes, we do get to Reese Shearsmith, and we're stuck to a camera behind the car, and they're heading to a cottage. Oh, there we go, the cottage, and it's doing this in the film, like that. There we go. So I'll just get you a taste of that. So here is the cottage. This is on the Isle of Man. Is the cottage in real life? And according to the director, this is a composite shot. The cottage is real. It's the actual cottage that they filmed in. The interiors as well are filmed in this cottage. But it's actually a composite. It's I think probably the tree in the foreground, the cottage, and maybe this bit here is one part. But the car and the stars and stuff in the background, what we see there, that's a separate shot separately and composited together. Anyway, they arrive, whoever they are. There we see the inside of the cottage. And in comes Andy Serkis with his lighter. Obviously, he turns on the what they call them, fuses to get the lights on. Here we meet, let's go back again. Here we meet Reese Shearsmith. If it'll do it, go back. Oh. It's been a pain today, is this? Right, back to Andy Serkis. Oh man, move. There we go. There's Reese. There were Reese Shearsmith with a fake head on, like a receding hairline. He doesn't look like that in real life. I don't know why they decided to do that for this film, because it doesn't really matter, but they do anyway. He gets the lights on. There's Andy Serkis. Andy plays David, and Reese Shearsmith plays Peter. The brothers, even though they look nothing alike, well, I don't think they do. And they don't talk anything alike either. Reese Shearsmith's got quite a posh voice in this, an accentless, I suppose you could say, voice, whereas Andy Serkis is a bit of a cockney, you cool blimey and all that, a cockney hard man. That's what he is. Good, I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking head in, all that, that sort of stuff. Sorry for the language. Anyway, so while David is sorting things out, Peter sits down and he has a cigarette, as we see. Don't smoke, kids, it's bad for you. And he decides to move on. There we go. And he lights a cig, hands it to his brother. The director says, this is something that brothers do, but from what I understand in this film, these brothers don't really seem to get on. But they have this little ritual where Peter will light a cigarette, hand it to his brother, and then light one for himself. They do it twice in this film. It was a bit silly to me, but I suppose it's to show that there's a bond between them, even though they're always arguing. There's the great Andy Serkis. And there's Reese Shearsmith, and he says, we're going to go to hell for this. Windgrace says, I was going to take up smoking, but I think you've convinced me. Well, that's my good deed for the day. I've convinced Windgrace not to start smoking, which is a good thing. I used to smoke many, many years ago, and then I stopped. So there we go. Right, so it says we're going to go to hell, and he needs to get something out of the car. So he goes to the car. Oh, yeah, they need some milk. He's going to make a cup of tea. A lot of tea in this film because it's British. And he's filling the kettle. So he's got to go and get the milk out of the car. So off he goes. A minute, arguing, about something and nothing. Apparently, when they were kids, there was something to do with the greenhouse. Peter's saying, you never did apologise for the greenhouse. And he says, that was 20 years ago. But we never learned what that was. As Peter goes out, he sees some rustling in a bush, but it's a red herring, nothing happens, spoilers. Anyway, he's just about to open the boot, and then David comes out and slams the boot shut and says, you've forgotten something. He remembers, and he goes into the car, brings out a balaclava and covers his face up, because in the boot of the car, we'll see here, he's getting the bag with the milk, the provisions out. There we go. In the boot of the car, you can see there she is, Jennifer Ellison, all unconscious and tied up and gagged. There she is. That's what the balaclava's for, in case you were awake. Let she in. It goes back in. Apparently, this cottage is freezing, but apparently, when they filmed it, it was freezing as well. So there you go. So he's not acting, and he puts the balaclava back on. And in the film, he's got this, and I don't know why. It's like a stress thing because he's stressed out all the time. It's Peter, so he keeps using his stress thing. By the way, he loves tea because all British people love tea. Proper tea, not this Earl Grey nonsense that you see Picard drinking. English breakfast tea is what I think other people call it. We just call it tea with milk in. Some people have sugar, but not me. Usually coming in a tea bag, either a square one, a pyramid, or a round one. Take your pick. My brother, he likes his loose tea. I think he thinks he's the bloody Earl of Sandwich or something. I don't know. Anyway, he puts his balaclava back on, does Peter, because he's cold. Right, so David's always calling him names, saying, you're a knobhead and stuff like that. And he's using his thingamabobs. I don't know what they call them. Like a hand exercise thing, aren't they? Well, Picard is French. Bwahaha. Well, that's true. But he's not, though, is he? Even though he's technically French, he's still British, isn't he? I once saw that in a book, a novel, one of the Next Generation novel. Which one was it? I can't remember. Where there were like an introduction to it. And in it, they had Picard portraying like an English sea captain. I can't remember what the story was about either. I bet Windgrace knows. Anyway, and in the introduction, they said, the author said something like, yes, I know that I'm portraying Picard as an English sea captain. A bit like at the beginning of Star Trek Generations, we see him on that sailing ship. And he said, and the author said, but come on, we know Picard's English, really. So that's how I look at it. Anyway, Where were we? So there we go. Yes, Picard is French. Blah, ha, ha. But he's not really. I like honey in my tea. My son does as well. He likes honey in his tea. I get that runny honey, not proper honey, just runny honey. Does that make me a heathen? No, it makes you cultured like my son. I don't have anything in it. I've heard them called Gripmaster, but that might just be a brand. Yeah. Sounds about right. There's some sort of stress thing in it. Right, he sees a shadow of a moth flying over. He's terrified of moths. So he freaks out a little bit. Tells there it is. Tells David to get rid of it. But he says, oh yeah. I forgot you were scared of moths. He's a better actor than me, is Andy Serkis. In fact, he's brilliant in this, is Andy Serkis. He's a brilliant actor. And so is Reese Shearsmith. They all play good parts. Apart from his fake head. It's a different colour to the rest of his head. I don't know. Anyway, so he deals with the moth, kills it. And then, so he's got to go up and talk to... no, they haven't got her out yet. They've got to go and get her out the back of the car in a bit. Sorry, I just saw a shadow and I thought, is my cat wanting to come in? I've closed the blinds on the window outside. And I keep seeing, is it a shadow of my cat? Just bear with me. Because she'll start. It is, look, yes, store. Right, just bear with me. I'm going to let the cat in. You'll probably hear me banging about. Can't be bothered putting my thing on. Interrupting my show in the Badder. Then you'll start, yeah, we want to go out again, won't we? Don't be there. I'm back. Let the cat in. Unbelievable. Right, where were we? Right. Did you forget your phone? Yes, he's got to call his wife. His wife's called Rebecca, apparently. He's got to call his wife to let her know that he's okay. So he's borrowing David's phone, and he says, where is your phone? And Peter says, well, it's in my car. It's my work phone. In the work car. So not in Peter's car either. Right. So he phones home, he leaves a message saying they're fine, and everything's okay. Right, so they've got to go and get Jennifer Ellison out the back of the car. Her character's called Tracy, by the way, and she's the stepdaughter. She's the stepdaughter of like a gangster, I suppose, an East End gangster. But because she's his stepdaughter, she's got a Liverpudlian accent. So there you go. Not that you'd be able to tell the difference, you Americans. Anyway, they get her on the back of the car. There she is. Very curvaceous Jennifer Ellison, as you can see. So they get her out and take her into the cottage. There. Go on then, move on. There we go. Right, they take her upstairs to the bedroom. They tie her to the bed. In a moment, this door's locked, apparently. So he needs to go and get the key. So David leaves Peter holding Jennifer Ellison. Tracy, was it called Tracy? Character's Tracy. Leaves her holding Jennifer Ellison. And this bit here, it makes her look really tall, but I don't think she is. And I think Peter's like squatting down, holding her. But he's getting a good view anyway. They go, don't drop her. And he's getting a good view, and he can't resist a look. There you go. And there we go. His point of view, his POV. There you go. He's having a good look. And then he looks up. There you go. See, she's woken up. And then she rails on him, wails on him, or whatever the phrase is. Headbutts him and several times, breaks his nose and all this stuff. And she leaves him on the floor. He's screaming his head off. And she's taking him down. The hands are tied behind the back. And David grabs her. And I think he puts her in another room, I think. Or he might have got the key for that room. I don't know. But we don't see him unlock a door. I think that's a different room. I think this might be the toilet, I think. We see it later. Anyway. Joshua says she's kind of Jennifer Tilly-ish. Normal voice pitch, though. I'll put when she starts talking. When we first hear her voice, I'll unmute it and play that little bit. And she's foul mouthed. Not really what you'd expect. But she's not like she ain't got like a squeaky voice, but she's got a Liverpudlian accent. So she talks a bit like that. So that's how she talks. Anyway, Wingrace says, "Hey, at least I don't think you sound Scottish like Brian." Did Brian say I sounded Scottish? Did he? All right. Well, Hootsmon and all that. Okay, the new. It's a bra bricked moon leak. Neat the new. My sister taught me that. I've no idea what it means. Anyway, so Peter's in agony because he had his nose broken. David's tying her to this bed. She's shouting at him, but you can't tell what she's saying because she's all. But in the subtitles, let's see if it plays it. Here, let's see if it shows the subtitle. What she's actually saying in a muffled voice. Are you ready? There you go. Sorry. But that's what you're gonna expect from Jennifer Ellison, from Tracy. Right, Peter's in agony. His nose is broken. There we go. A bit of CG on this, apparently. He had the prosthetic on. Obviously, it didn't really break his nose. But the director says there's actually a visible line, where the prosthetic was. So the CG people painted the line out. So I don't know how much they spent on CG. Of them, their $5 million budget, probably $4 million went on CG. And the other $1 million on Andy Serkis. Hang on. Get rid of that subtitle. Oh, go on, go off. Go off. No, never mind. So they're still rowing, even though he's got his nose broken. So he's going to fix it. When's it going to go off? There we go. So going to fix it is David. He says, right, I'm going to pop it back in place. So which he does, and there's a loud crack, as it happens. I've never had a broken nose, so I don't know what it's like. I imagine it hurts. He pops it back in, and he's fine, but still in pain. There she is, being angry. Right, then we cut to London, England. Home of the king. I don't know which part I look. It's probably the East End. What is it? Oh, there's Tower Bridge there. Can you see my mouse pointer? Yeah, Tower Bridge there. The Tower of London is over here somewhere, which is why they call it Tower Bridge, because it's near the Tower of London. This is the financial district. That's the what they call it. It's named after a vegetable. I forgot what they call it. The gherkin. That's the gherkin, isn't it? Anyway, I think this was before the Shard were built. Anyway, so we cut to here we go, a strip club. So I'm gonna have to be careful here because there's a couple of naked ladies dancing on a table. So there might be some quick taps with me keys. Come on. This is where we're introduced to Andrew, played by Stephen O'Donnell, Spud Gun. Come on, you're going to move then, or what? There we go. And he's coming in, and everybody's saying, hello, Andrew, nice hair. Or have you had your hair done? And he's not saying anything. Oh, going to be close. If we can get past this bit. Ooh. Luckily, they were blurred out. That's the lot. That's all we get. You just see them two dancing. That lady there, on the left-hand side, is the director's girlfriend, and we see the director in a moment. If I can get to that bit. It passes a fella in a minute. Not him. Come on, where is he? Probably gone past it. This is he coming up here now? Oh no, not the reflection. There he is. That's the director. Whose name I've forgotten already. Paul Andrew Williams. Because he said in the commentary, says this handsome fellow here. I don't know who he is, but he's the director because he's got a picture of him on IMDb. Right, where were we? So anyway, it goes into the back of the strip club, and am I on it? There we go. Knocks on the door of the office. Passes more, girls. Knocks on the door, and this fella answers. I say, I don't know. And apparently his dad's in there. Tracy's his stepsister, but his dad's in there. Tracy's stepdad. But the voice that you hear, we see him at the end of the film, by the way, the stepdad. It was called Arnie. We see him at the end of the film. But his voice that we hear coming from the office is actually Andy Serkis. It's not the fellow that we see at the end of the film. So he's waiting. See his dad. And he says, some idiot's gone and kidnapped your stepsister. Then we cut back to the cottage. Is Peter sticking tissues up his nose to soak up the blood. Got to decide what to do now. They've got to make the phone call now to Arnie. But first, they've got to go and talk to. First, they've got to go and talk to Tracy, and they've got to threaten her. They've got to say, if you cause any trouble, I'll break your fingers. And this is where he's trying. He wants Peter to do it because apparently, if he talks, if David talks, she'll recognise him because he used to go in the club. Presumably, the club we've just seen. He used to go in the club. He was a regular in the club, so she'd recognise him. But obviously, Peter's never been there because he's not that kind of person. So she won't recognise his voice. So he's saying, "Tell her that if she causes any trouble, you'll break her fingers." And he's like, "If you cause any trouble, I'll break your fingers." And and he says, "Oh, no, do it as though you're hard." And he went, "Okay, if you cause any trouble, I'll break your fingers." And he went, "Oh, that's no good." And he says, "Well, how should I do it?" And then let's see if we can get to that bit. And he grabs a hold of him. He goes, "You don't mess it. You start so messing about, I'll break your fucking fingers." And like that. Do it like that. Okay. So he gets it right enough. Hello, DJ. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it. Oh God, bloody stop doing the subtitles because they don't disappear when I do the skip. Right. See, right. So you're getting the gist of what's going on here. The subtitles, if they disappear. Right. They've got to talk to her. Tell her, that she's got to speak to her dad to show that she's okay and that she's been kidnapped, and they want £100,000, or they'll kill her. But obviously they've no intention of killing her. So they're going to go up. Oh, by the way, he gives him a note with a letter. What he wants him to say to Arnie. And it's something along the lines of £100,000 in a satchel left at Fleet Services on the whatever. By 10 p.m. tonight or whatever, somewhat along them lines. That's what he's got to say to Arnie. And if you don't do it, we'll kill her. There she is. So, I'm going to do it. I think they take her her gag off now. So I've got to control him, unmute it. That bit. So you can hear her voice. Oh, he says he's going to give her a drink of tea. Is Peter. There's David being threatening with a knife. But he's going to give her the tea. I don't think they've taken the gag off yet. Maybe they have. My cat's wanting to go back out now. Did you hear her meowing then? I'll go let her out. We'll never get through this film. Are you being a cheeky monkey, eh? We've had this lovely hot weather recently in the UK, and I haven't seen her. I don't see her all day. She comes in for something to eat, has something to eat and a drink, and then buggers off out again. Tell you. Where were we? Yeah, so they're going to take the gag off her, and Peter gets it wrong immediately. He says, "If you don't do as you're told, David here, I'll have to hurt you with the knife." And you see it in his eyes, in David's eyes, he's like, "Oh, you idiot! What's hot for you, Stephen?" Says Joshua. Well, today, hang on, I'll tell you what. It's in Celsius, by the way, centigrade. So don't ask me what it is in Fahrenheit. I'm not a Philistine. It's been like up to 26 today. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. At the moment, it's 21, and it's what time is it? It's 9:36 at night. I'll just what did I say? 26. I think that was the hottest it got. Although in the car today it said it was 27, but 26C in, oh god, my fat fingers, in F. No, not on F. Oh, that's the 78.8 degrees. Oh yeah, you just said it. Winggrace worked that out in his head probably because he's, hyper intelligent mega being. So that's hot. That's hot for round here anyway. I don't know what it's like for you, but it depends where you live in America, doesn't it? Because you have all different climates. So, but yeah, 26 around 78, 79. Yeah, so that's hot for here. I mean, it's the UK after all. That's under 80. It's about 90 here in Dallas. Well, you're in Dallas, aren't you? What do you expect? Christ. Don't start going on, oh, no, that's hotter than hell here. Well, don't live in Dallas then if you're moaning about it. Anyway, where were we? Right, so he's told, she now knows his name. There you go, that's his reaction. And now she knows his name. I think they take the gag off. Is this where we hear a voice? I think I muted it. No. Just control him. Or I muted it. Hang on, let's volume. Yeah, control and M, but it didn't work for some reason. Let's try again.
I'm going to pour this into your mouth for you.
There's no sugar in this.
Oh.
Missed a bit. We'll go back again. We'll go back a bit. When you first get the gag off. I think.
He'll
Later.
have to use his knife to teach you a lesson. So will you be quiet now?
You fucking bastards! Get my hands free and I'll cut and kill you!
There you go. Control M to mute it again. So that's what her voice is like, is, hey, you bastard. Kill you. With a piece of skating board. Talking Liverpool. Calm down. Right, so they give her a drink and let her talk to Arnie. And he passes on the message, the note, that they want £100,000, delivered. And they want her stepbrother to deliver it. Just him by himself, or they just said just one person or something. And she's telling them that, well, she knows he's called David. She knows, that she beat him up with her hands tied behind her back. So her dad's gonna, kill him and torture them and kneecap their entire families and all that stuff. So that's him talking to Arnie. We never hear Arnie's voice apart from the office scene when it was Andy Serkis's voice. But we never hear him on the phone. That's her telling him he's fine. She's fine. The pussies. And she's been all cocky. She's cocky all the way through the film, all the way to her end. Anyway, so I've got to show this. He comes downstairs. He's angry. Is David? He stabs his knife there into the table next to the clotted cream jar. Is it clotted cream fudge? I think it might be clotted cream fudge, made with real cream. So that's, he's left his knife there for later. So he's a bit cross, and I think he slaps. Well, not slaps him. He hits him with the balaclava. Says, "You idiot!" He says, she knows my name, and he's like, "Did I tell her your name?" And he says, "Yes, you did." And went, "Well, I don't act well when I'm being threatened." And he was, "It was the first thing you said." So it's an amusing back and forth. It is a comedy, by the way. Not doing it justice. But we're going to get to the good bits in a bit. The power goes out, but it's on a meter. It's nothing sinister. It's got to put some more money in the electric meter to get the power back on. Come back to the club. Andrew's got to go in and see his dad, and he's given a satchel with not a satchel, a bag, with the money in. Him. I forgot his name. The name of his character. It's like Smoking somebody or other. I can't remember. Smoking Joe. That's his name. I don't know why they call him that. Because you don't see him smoking, I don't think. He's on the phone to somebody saying, it's he's on his way, sort of thing. So, right, he's leaving now. There we go. So, Andrew's on his way with the money, £100,000 in the bag, so to speak, or literally, there it is. He thinks. So he's on his way, and he says, "My phone's about to die." He's phoning up David, by the way, because he's in on it. He's part of the plot. The three of them, are all in it together. And these two, they're obviously working for Arnie. They are, I can't remember the names of them. Where are we? There's Mukli San and Chunyo Fu, played by Logan Wong and Jonathan Chan Pensley. But apparently one of them's supposed to be Chinese and one of them's supposed to be Korean. I don't know which one. But they don't say a lot between them, but they're always swearing to one another when they do talk. And they like the knives and axes and stuff. And we don't know yet, but they've got a fella in the back seat that they're going to chop up later. Right, so Andrew's arrived at the cottage, and then the two hitmen, they arrive as well in a Shogun. Is that deliberate? I wondered if he'd say something in the director's commentary about it being a Shogun. It's a Japanese ruler thing, isn't it? From the Far East. I thought, is it deliberate? Is that why they picked that car? Don't know, but he never said anything. So it could just be a coincidence, a coinky dink. Right, so they're there watching and waiting for the opportunity to find out what's going on. They've got to find out how many are in there. Andrew's arrived with the money and some bottles of beer. There she's tied up. Come on, that's it. So they're all happy. And then David says, "Is it all there?" And Andrew says, "It was a bit thick." Says, "I don't know, I didn't check." So you see, like Andy Serkis, he like goes, "Oh, everything's going wrong." So there we go. So he checks, he opens it up, checks, and it's just tissues that's in. Like, "Oh no!" So he shouts here, "No!" So he concludes that Arnie knows that Andrew, his son, is in on it. And because he said, "Were you followed?" And he said, "I don't think so," but obviously he was. He didn't realise we're being followed quite closely as well. But so that's something else that's gone wrong for David. So he's got to work it out. Peter's had enough. He wants to go home. He says, I've had enough, and I'm going to go outside and have a smoke in a minute. David says, I'll figure something out. This has just happened. So what does he decide to do? Andrew asks if there's a bottle opener, and anyway, he says, I'm going to go check on Tracy. So David's got to think about what to do next. Meanwhile, I forgot. Andrew had got a mask. He said, I picked one up on the way, but he got the wrong sort. So obviously it's no good, is it? Which were quite amusing, because he's an idiot. And he just says, get out of my sight. He's not having a good day, it's Peter Serkis, Andy Serkis. Anyway, so these two, the director described them as Orientals. So I'm just saying what the director called them. They're watching. He's on the phone to Arnie, and the other one's describing what's happening in the cottage. So anyway, one of them's going to go and scout the place out in the moment. There we see they've got him in the back. It turns out, is where they've got their information from, I think, about Andrew. This is Andrew's hairdresser. Remember, he'd had his hair done. That's his hairdresser. It's called Stephen, apparently. Good name. And it's with a V as well, which makes it doubly good. So they're threatening him. We're going to do this, and then we're going to cut you up. David's mooning over his boat. He wants to buy a boat with his 50,000. And because what the plan was, David were going to have 50,000, Andrew were going to have 50,000, and Peter were going to get David's half of the house that their mother had left him. The mother had died recently, by the way, and left them the house, and they owned half each, and David were going to give him, his half. I just realised I called your show the wrong name yesterday. Lol. It's not Friday Night Frights. Well, it's near enough. It's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. It's called that because when I was a kid, there was a thing on Yorkshire TV on a Friday night, 10:30, after news at 10, called Appointment with Fear, and they used to show old Hammer films and old Amicus films, these old horror films that totally tame today, but they were scary at the time. And my mum, when I was little, it's like when I was 8, 9, 10-year-old, used to let me stay up on a Friday night to watch them. And at the beginning, they had an intro, not as good as mine. I've looked for it. I've searched high and low for it on YouTube. They had an intro that were faces morphing. Like an animation, because there was no CG back then, but like Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman and Dracula and skulls and all this stuff morphing and this scary music that going doom, giving it all that, and it was scary. And they're scarier than the films. And they used to be like, oh, is it done? Has it gone off? And that was called Friday Night Appointment with Fear. Sort of Peter Vincent-y, yes. Except he didn't have a host. But it's like the Dracula films and Curse of the Werewolf with Oliver Reed, stuff like that. Right. Where were we? He's mooning over his boat. Oh, I've done that again. He's mooning over his boat, is David. But he's got to work out what to do. So he decides what he's going to do now. He needs the money paying directly into a bank account. So he asks Peter if he's if he's got a bank account, and he says, well, no, not really. He's got a joint account with Rebecca. He says, well, have you got a bank card with your number on, your bank number on? He says, no, she takes care of all of that. So then he asks Andrew, he says, have you got a bank account? He says, yes. He says, what's your number? He says, I don't know. Don't ask him why. If he had his card on him, his number would be on there, but never mind. So he decides that there is a bank account available to him, and he's pondering, and it's their mother's account. And Peter says, oh, don't you bring mother into this sort of shady deal. But he said, "It don't matter, she's dead." And he said, "But I thought you were supposed to have closed that account down." And he said, "Well, I haven't yet. Never got around to it." Anyway, by the by, Joshua says, "When I was in elementary school, Saturday after cartoons had back-to-back movies of B horror movies followed by Hong Kong action theatre." Oh, right. That was after school, was it? Oh dear, unbelievable. So with this, like in the morning or at like lunchtime ish, midday. America. Good times, yes, it was good times. Yes, I just found from the 90s. Yes, I've seen that one. It's got like Vincent Price on it, and it's like greenish. That's not the one, but it's a similar sort of sound, but it's not the one. I've looked, and other people have looked for it as well. I've like searched on like forums and stuff, and other people have been looking for it. And it's probably in the archive somewhere at Yorkshire Television, but I should really send them an email or something and ask them if they've got it somewhere in the archives, and send me a copy or put it on YouTube or something. Anyway, yes, lunch to midday. Yes, tell you. Hey, B horror movies in the afternoon. What's the Discord? I must join. Hang on, what's that? What's the Discord? What Discord for what? They sent it in Discord. It is on about the Popcast brothers or guy. What do they call them? The Popcast Discord. Hang on, I'll find the link. Here we go. But I think you got to be a member. I think you've got to like sign up for it. Or you've got to be a member of the. You've got to be a member of the. I'll just share the bloody link, can't I? So I'll do that. We'll get out of that. There we go. You can hear it now. But it's not the same. It's not the same. It's rubbish, really. I'll copy the link. Hang on, where are we? Put it here. There we go. There we go. Right. I'll have to try and remember to send them an email or something like that and see what they say. They'll probably say, "Oh, it's we can't find it," or it'll cost you £250 or something, or £5,000 or some ludicrous amount of money. Anyway, where were we? Right, so bank accounts, doing bank accounts. Doing bank accounts. So he wants to use the mother's account. So he's not happy about it, but he doesn't know, and David doesn't know the mother's bank number. Peter doesn't know it by heart, but he's got it at home, which means he's going to have to phone home, wake up Rebecca in the middle of the night. She's not going to be happy, he says, and get the details. It's in the folder marked Mum. He's got to phone Rebecca up. There we see one of the Oriental assassins watching. There's his glove. We see this glove later. So apparently, I forgot now. The director says what that meant in Korean. This must be the Korean one. It's in Korean for I forgot, misery, I think. I could be wrong. But now you can see him. Look, he's watching through the window. And by the way, there we saw. Sorry, I missed it out. Hang on, there we go. We saw. He'd been wearing contact lenses. If you noticed, he didn't have, he didn't have any glasses on. And he had contact lenses in, and we see him taking them out in a minute. Says he's smoking too much. We see him take his contact lenses out. It's not bloody showing it, is it? Anyway, never mind. And he puts his glasses on, so he's wearing glasses for the rest of the film. I've never worn contact lenses, but they offer them sometimes, and they go for my eye test at the opticians. They say, "Have you ever thought of getting contact lenses?" No, because I've got stupid eyes. I have, and they wouldn't work. My glasses don't even bloody work half the time. Right, this is Andrew watching Tracy through the keyhole. That's a big giant keyhole in real life, and apparently the plan was for the camera to move through it, but it didn't work. So we just stuck with a blurred outline of the keyhole, a point of view of Andrew watching her. And then she looks round. He says, "I can see you." And she looks round. And then she looks there. And then he gets scared and runs away. Right. So he gets the number, the bank code number, whatever. And David is going to go into the village. I can't actually remember. Oh, we haven't got to that bit yet. He ain't got the number yet, because more things happen soon. He gets the phone. He gets David's phone, and he goes outside to phone Rebecca to get the number. There he goes. He's phoning her, and Tracy gets her what do we call it, thing off. By the way, in the background there, is that one of the? Yes, that's one of the that's the Korean Oriental with his axe lurking about. He's talking to his wife, wanting to get the number for the bank code, and she gets. Here we go. She gets her. Not showing it. She gets her a gag off. She starts shouting and bawling. There we go. She starts screaming and shouting, and it makes him jump. We'll see. Off subtitles. Oh, he's sticking up for David. She's saying, "What's he got you into now?" Asking for the bank number. Off. There we go. So she gets her a gag off, and she starts screaming and shouting, and it startles Peter, and he drops the phone into this puddle. There you go, splosh. Oh. Sorry about the language. And so he gets it, he fishes it out. She's shouting and bawling at them. Then she sees Andrew. She goes, "Andrew, I knew you were part of this. You're dead," in a Liverpudlian accent. So he runs out, and then Peter runs in with no mask on. He says, "Oh, I've seen your face now," and he goes, "Oh," freaks out, runs out again. And so the re-gagger. And he says, "I dropped the phone in the water and all that," but he got the number. But they've no phone now. Because he's got to phone Arnie, for a bank transfer of the 100,000. But obviously his phone's broken now because it's got water coming out of it. So he says to Andrew, "Have you got a phone?" He says, "Yeah." And so he gives him his phone, and then he says, "Remember in the car on the way," he says his battery were dying. So he says, "The battery's dead." He says, "Well, have you got a charger?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Where is it?" It's in the club. He says, "What's it doing in the club?" Because it's attached to the wall. But it's not going well for David. He says, "Right, I'm going to have to drive to the village, use the phone box in the village, and phone Arnie from there." So that's what he's going to do. There he goes. Oh, then he sees that their car's blocked in by Andrew's car. So he's got to go back in, get Andrew's keys. So this is important. He's got both sets of keys now. He's got his own car keys, and now he's got Andrew's car keys, which is important for a little while. He gets Andrew's keys. Getting ready to have fun now, chopping people up. Know who's in there, and he's telling Arnie what's going on. And the one with the axe, the Korean one, I think it is, or it might be the other one. Can't remember. One of them, the one's got an axe, a chopper, whatever, cleaver, and the other one, him that's at the front. Hang on, where are we? Him. He's got a jacket with a big tiger on. That's also important. Anyway, well, David must have known what his accomplices were like. He chose poorly. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I suppose he didn't have much option, really. His options were probably limited. It was supposed to be easy, wasn't it? It was supposed to be kidnap her, get the money, disappear, release her, disappear. Never, that was supposed to be it. But it's all gone wrong, hasn't it? It's all gone pear-shaped, as they say. Cool, bloom. It's all good pear-shaped, ain't it? Right, where were we? Right, so the one in the red jacket is taking poor Stephen out into the woods to dispatch him. And David, I keep on calling Andy. I know it's Andy Serkis, but David is driving to the village, smoking a cigarette. Does a lot of smoking in this film. It's not good for you. There he is, good old British telephone box. Still see these knocking about, but you don't see a lot of payphones these days. They're a dying breed, aren't they? Because everybody's got their own phones now, aren't they? So payphones are a dying breed. Anyway, so he's arrived in the village. By the way, this phone box is fake and the light's fake as well. The director said in his commentary, you know, the village is real, but the phone box and the light are not. Set design. So anyway, he arrives and he goes and phones up Arnie. And he seems to be on right good terms with him. And first time I watched it, I thought, is this like a double cross? Is it like a double cross or something? Where he's in on it with Arnie to get the money or something, and because Arnie wants to get rid of his stepdaughter or whatever. I don't know. But the director never said anything in the commentary, so maybe I just misinterpreted it. So it seems as though, you know, they get the idea that you know, it's going to be paid into this other account, that whatever. So he hangs up. Then he gets scared by Doug Bradley. There he is, Doug Bradley, and the rest of the villagers, or some of them. And there he is, Doug Bradley, Pinhead from Hellraiser. He's out and he's saying, "You're a stranger about these parts," talking like that. And someone had this photo taken with Doug Bradley at a horror convention. He's never watched Hellraiser. I think he saw him in something else. Yes, he was in one of the Wrong Turn films, and my son likes them Wrong Turn films. That's where he knows him from. Wingrace says, there's still a payphone right down from my house, but it hasn't actually worked in years. No, not very much good then, is it? There used to be one at the bottom of our street, but I think it's gone now. I think it has. It like kept getting more overgrown with, like, you know, vines and ivy and stuff over the years. But it wasn't a red one. It wasn't a cool red phone box. It was like a more modern one. But I think it's gone now. I think they've taken it away. Anyway, where were we? What are you all staring at? There we go. Instantly, oh, strangers don't fare well round here. You're staying up at the old somewhat cottage, and says, you know, keep your door locked and all that. He's got a dog with him that starts growling and barking. A Rottweiler called Thorn. And I thought, did they call it Thorn because it was a Rottweiler in The Omen? Remember we did The Omen? Was it last week or week before? Last week, wasn't it? When we did The Omen. And I thought, oh, they called it Thorn after Damien Thorn. But apparently, no, it's called Thorn after the dog in something else. And I forgot what he said. There was a dog called Thorn in something. Lost Boys, apparently. There's a dog called, yes, the dog. But that one's a Rottweiler, wasn't it? That was like a German Shepherd or something, wasn't it, in the Lost Boys? So I'm going, my headcanon, it's called Thorn after Damien Thorn in The Omen. But apparently he said it was the loveliest dog you could imagine, and they couldn't get it to bark or growl or anything. It were all ADR'd after. All sound effects. Anyway. So the villagers are out there, all about 10 of them or something. The director said, I want about 50 extras, you know, I want all the village to be out, but his budget only allowed for 10. And this is like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And he said they've been on call. They've been called out of these extras at 7 o'clock the night before, and they didn't get used until 5 in the morning. So, but there were troopers. They've got to be on the extras. Right, so he heads back. We don't see these again. I thought something else was going to happen with these villagers, but it didn't. You know, they come across all sinister, but that's it. That's the last we see of them. Anyway, this chap, the Chinese one, is wondering where his accomplice has gone. So he goes looking for him into the woods. Now then, I've got to remember now. There's 2 lots of woods filmed here. There's some woods on the Isle of Man. I think this one. I think he said this is on the Isle of Man. But then when he gets somewhere else in the woods, it's in the forest off the M25 near London. Let me see. Oh, there's an owl. It says this owl was attached to a piece of string held by an old lady on the other side of the tree. Here we go. This is in woods near London. Pickup shot. It sees the axe embedded in a tree with blood on it. It's like it's not an axe, it's a cleaver, isn't it? It's the cleaver. So it's thinking, oh, what's happened to whatever the hell he's called? Then we come back to the cottage. The car alarm's going off. Sorry. On David's car, there seems to be some damage. You can't really see it there, but there's some damage on the wheel, and apparently there's supposed to be a big knife stuck in it. I don't know how that's happened, but the director says there's supposed to be a big knife stuck in the wheel. But I don't know why. Yeah, I presumably think that Tracy's done it, but why would she do that? I don't know. But anyway, I suppose to stop David escaping, I suppose. Because what's happened, David comes back and he finds that Tracy and Peter have disappeared, and Andrew's ligged out on the kitchen floor, unconscious. There he is. So Peter says, what happened? He goes upstairs and sees that Tracy's gone, finds Peter's thing, grip master, and goes back down and says, what happened? Go wake up, Andrew, you fuck. What happened? Gives him all that. He looks outside and goes back in. And so Peter then describes what happened. Not Peter, Andrew describes what happened. They heard some banging. They were downstairs having a cup of tea, and they heard some banging from upstairs. There they are. And she said she needed to go to the toilet. She needed to go for a wee. And so they decided to take her. But she still had her hands tied. So there she sat on the toilet. Then he said, she needed to wipe herself. So either one of them had to do it or they'd have to untie her. So Peter started to untie her hands. Then he sees a moth, as we'll see in a moment. He sees a moth and he freaks out. And there he's freaking out at the moth. And he's distracted. Tracy strikes. And she must be strong for the size. She knocks Andrew knocks off the bathroom, the toilet door. It's not a bathroom, it's a toilet, isn't it? Knocks off the toilet door. And Peter tries to escape and she drags him back in. Apparently, this was Jennifer Ellison's idea, dragging him back in. Because she grabbed Peter. So she must be stronger than she looks. And beats him up a bit more. Then she beats up Andrew. And she takes Peter at knife point out into the woods. Obviously, she didn't have David's car keys because he's got them. He had both sets of car keys, didn't he? That's why she didn't escape in the car. So she probably stabbed the tyre with a big knife, so he couldn't go after them or whatever. So he couldn't use the car either. So he's going to go and search in the woods. Oh, but before that happens, Stephen arrives, comes stumbling into the cottage, and he's like, no, and they take the thing off. He said, don't go out there. He's all coughing up blood and stuff, and all his guts are hanging out, apparently. You don't get a really good look for a minute, but he's being cut open. He said, don't go out there or you'll die too. Then he dies. All right, apparently Andrew had told Stephen all about this heist that they were doing, not heist, this escapade, antic, whatever you call it. He told him all about it, which is why they've got him and murdered him. So all his guts are hanging out. But there we get a little view of it there. We'll see it better in a moment. There we are. Or as the director described it, pot noodle. Lots of pot noodle on the floor. So he's got to go out and look for his brother. Off he goes into the woods. There we see She's marching. Oh, cracky! Marching Peter at knife point. And he's got a broken jaw. She's punched him so hard, she's broken his jaw. His jaw's all to one side. He can't talk properly. He's talking like that. You can't really tell what he's saying. So they're going through the woods. This is on the Isle of Man. Apparently it's a reshoot, and they had to fly Jennifer Ellison out again to do it again for some reason. I don't know why, but they did. Right, so they get to this farm. There we go. Craggy End Farm, it's called. Keep of Land. And there's a pheasant hung up. There she is. Reading the sign. It's over the gate. Why don't they just undo this? Just undo that and open the gate instead of climbing over. Stupid people. So he climbs over, but he drops his wallet, as we'll see in a moment. There we go. There, so he dropped his wallet. Look. Oh, anyway, David's looking for a weapon. He's going to go searching for his brother. Who's going with him, obviously. So they both head into the woods. Right, now, we're not on the Isle of Man anymore. We're in Yorkshire now. This farm that they arrive at here is in Yorkshire. I don't know whereabouts in Yorkshire. Yorkshire's a big place, but it's in Yorkshire somewhere. So they head down with the light on. So in they go to the farm. Apparently, they spent 3 weeks filming here, apparently. But anyway. So anyway, it's all open, but there's nobody about. And so she's threatening Peter again. Says, you know, if you tell anybody I'm going to kill you, I'll kill you. That's what she says. You know, she's not a nice person. Is Tracy. Anyway, so they're in this house, and it's all very strange and old-fashioned. And there's a trap door. There you go, in the kitchen, which is important for later. Anyway, they're having a look round. Anyway, they find this room with a record playing, some classical music, and she says it's crap. She's got no taste. And then they find all these photos on the wall. Here we go. This is the farmer. This is the fella that's going to be killing everybody from here on in. The farmer, there he is, and his wife, and he's got 2 daughters as well. But we find out later that he was disfigured in an accident, and the farm was closed, but he stayed there apparently. And you know, I think everybody thinks he murdered his family, and then other people started, you know, disappearing and all that. He went crazy because of his disfigurement. So they're looking at all this disturbing stuff. Disturbing stuff we find later. She says she's going to check upstairs, and he says, "Well, I might run away." And so she punches him again and sets his jaw right. And he goes, "Oh, I can talk again." And then she kicks him in the balls, as we'll see. Oh, there she's punching him. Hang on, let's make sure we're still going, actually. Yes, excellent connection. We're still going on Rumble. Yes, we are. No chats on Rumble yet. And an Archmage Fraser over on Twitch as well. I'm everywhere, including here. All right. Oh, that's that appeared in the StreamYard chat as well. I didn't realise you were on Twitch. Hey, you do gad about, as my mama just said. Right, where were we? Right, so she's reset his jaw, and then she kicks him in the balls, and she says, "Run away now." And she walks out. There we go. Foul language from a little petite lady. And then we see there, oh, gone too far. Look, let's go back again. There we go. There's the glove with the Korean thing on. That Tracy's a brute. Yes, she is. This is one of the worst people in the film, apart from the farmer. But he's got an excuse, I suppose, for acting the way he does. She hasn't. There's the glove from the Korean assassin, whatever you call him. So obviously the farmer's got him because his glove's there burning. So there we go. Is this Andy and yes, Andrew and David? Is it coming through the woods? Yes, it is. And they find the Korean fella strung up with his throat cut, as we'll see. And so did and Andrew says, did the other one do it? Did they have an argument? And he said, and David says, you don't cut somebody's throat over an argument. I thought, you don't string them up either, do you? Between two trees. But anyway, unfortunately, the farmer's got to him. We see him soon, don't we? Right, this Tracy looking around. She's looking out of the bedroom. This is obviously one of the kids' bedrooms because of the drawings and stuff on the wall. Let's see. There's Peter recovering. This is the wife's bedroom, the farmer's wife, or the farmer's their bedroom. Anyway, she finds a suitcase. She opens it up. She opens it up, and as we see there we go. You will never leave me. So obviously the farmer's written that on. Maybe his wife were probably going to leave him with the kids. We find later on there's a diary that we find, the farmer's wife's diary, and she obviously were going to leave him, and because he's been up, doing horrible things. It's obviously stopped her. I don't know what happens to the farmer's wife. He must have probably killed her or something, I don't know. But we find out what happens to his daughters. Anyway, all right, he goes. I presume this is he thinks it's the toilet or something, and he goes. It's all dark, and he turns on the light, and there's millions of moths everywhere, as we'll see. Oh my god! So there's moths everywhere, and he's freaking out. And they set it to some music as he's freaking out. Apparently, all these moths are CG. I kept telling the director was saying there loads of CG in this film. Well, they're CG moths. They were going to use real moths, and a fella came, a moth wrangler, but all of his moths were still in chrysalises. So, well, it's no bloody good, is it, if they're in chrysalises? When they came to shoot this, they weren't ready. So they had to CG them in. And, they look fine. They look okay. Look pretty good. Whoever did the CG on this film, were a pretty good CG company, in my opinion. Better than Marvel. Anyway, so he's freaking out in there. Anyway, but he gets out. It's just a funny scene, I suppose. It has no relevance to the rest of the film, really. It's just a funny scene with him and moths. But he gets out. He's fine. So he goes back downstairs, and he gets some peas out of the freezer for his face. So he's relaxing with the peas, and then he hears a noise from the cellar, from under the trap door. He's like, "Oh God, what's happening here?" And he starts dropping the peas on the floor. Meanwhile, she's in the bedroom, and she smells something. She does some smell acting. The director says, "There you go." He said when Jennifer Ellison watched the film, she said this bit. She said, "Miss Smell acting's good, isn't it?" There you go. So I look like I'm really smelling something, but she can smell something from somewhere in the bedroom. He's dropping his peas. He's going to go to this door where this smell's coming from, but then Peter alerts her, starts calling out because the trapdoor moves. He says, "There's something under there. There's something under the trapdoor. It moved." And she says, "Why is the peas all over the floor?" That's how she says it, And so she's going to go open the trapdoor, and he says, "No, don't open it." And then she says, "What you saw in the trailer." Well, we're in a creepy farmhouse in the middle of nowhere with a trapdoor with strange noises coming from under it. What do you think's going to happen? Dead thick, isn't she? Anyway, so she opens it. That's where she's telling him that. But she opens it, and nothing happens. As we see, she looks down. I don't know these two marks. There's supposed to be bruises where they've been holding it or whatever. I don't know, but never mentions them. She looks down. Nothing happens. And when she looks back, she says, "Why are the hands in the freezer?" And then he turns around, and then we see the hands in the freezer. There we go. In a minute. There you go. There's hands in the freezer, chopped off hands. So He's a cannibal. Oh, and then she gets stabbed. As he looks back round and he says, "I think we should go now." And then she gets stabbed from behind. There you go. A knife comes through. A bit of CG blood, apparently, but like a fake knife. And the director, in the director's commentary, he said he wanted Jennifer Ellison to hold the knife as he pulls it back out. You know, the farmer's behind her. As he pulls the knife back out, he wanted her to hold the blade. And he said, I did it first to show her that the blade were blunt and, you know, it wouldn't cut her. And he said, it cut my hand open, so she wouldn't do it. Anyway. So he stabbed her as the farmer. There we go, we see him now. Handsome chap. Handsome chap. Played by somebody I've never heard of. The farmer. David Lagano, don't know how to pronounce it. So there we go. So there he is. Oh, I've done that again. There we go. So it's going to be fun and games from now on. So he goes after, starts chasing after Peter. In a minute, they scream at each other, and he goes running off. In a minute, after the screaming, leave Jennifer Ellison for dead. He's chasing him around the house a bit. He runs upstairs. There we go, and he runs into the bedroom. And the farmer's pounding on the door, and he sees there's a keyhole there, but the key's there, and he's just out of reach. But the pounding stops, so he's able to grab the key, and he locks the door. And then it's the bit we saw in the trailer where he's listening. You think he's going to get stabbed through the head here, but doesn't. But this one nearly dangerous, the director said. As you see there, hang on, let's go back a bit. As he's watching. Go on, go back. There we go. Oh, what are you playing for? As he's watching, the knife comes through the blade, whatever. The knife comes through the door. Actually, that wasn't CG. That was actually a real thing. The blade came through the door, and Reese Shearsmith had to stay in a certain position, but he actually moved a little bit forward, and the fella on the other side mistook the director's directions and actually pushed the blade forward a little bit more, like an inch further than it should have gone. And luckily, Reese Shearsmith backed off a little bit just at the right time. He says it had actually gone in his head because it was actually a proper, you know, a big blade. So that could have been disastrous for the film, but the director were laughing about it, you know. Anyway, don't kill him. It just stops and just grabs one of his glasses and pulls his glasses off. So he's fine. He's fine, is Peter. He's screaming. The farmer comes through the door. Peter jumps out the window. He's fine. He doesn't break anything. Was running off. And then Tracy comes running out saying, "Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't effing leave me." So he goes and helps her. She said, I'm sorry for all the names I called you. And so he starts helping her. And the farmer's like walking after him. And then he runs off to Peter by himself. But I call him David. Peter. Peter runs off, so she's like, "You effing effer," and all that, calling him names. And then she turns around to see the farmer. He says, "What are you staring at, you ugly f-?" And what does he do then? He kicks her, that's it. He kicks her in the gut and she goes down. And then he's about to stab her. There we go. But then Peter arrives with a shovel. Bang, there we go. Knocks the farmer over. We don't find out his name, by the way. It's just the farmer. Knocks him over. Saves Tracy, but she's not grateful. Tracy decides that there he is. He's having says, "This is the worst day of my life. First I met you, the worst person I've ever known, and then I met him, somebody who's actually worse than you." I actually don't think he is, to be honest. At least he's got an excuse to be the way he is. Anyway, she uses the farmer's knife, and she says, "You're going to have to kill him, you know, or he might get up and get us." So Peter obviously can't kill him. And we see that the farmer twitch. He can't kill him. She says, "Oh, I'll do it myself." And so while they're arguing, is gets up as the farmer, and I think he hits Peter with the shovel, and he gets up and gets Jennifer Ellison in a minute. There we go. We're going to get her with the shovel now in a minute, because she can't keep her gob shut. She's shouting and bawling and swearing at him, and there we go. And then he gets her with the shovel. It's a cool scene. Nice bit of gore coming up. Hope YouTube don't play Humor with me. And here we go. Thumped by that. We don't actually see a head in a bucket, but this is what's happening to her. Here we go. He's shoved the shovel through her mouth. When it pans down. There we go. There we go. She struggled with this, did Jennifer Ellison? Apparently, it made a gip, but made a wretch. But anyway, he's done that, and then he finishes her off. Hang on, let's go back a bit. I think we missed. Oh no. Oh, then he hits him with the shovel. That's it. There we go. Knocks her down to the ground and chops the rest of her head off. I'm trying to get that bit on. For your delight. There we go. There you go. Yummy. Bit of go. Well, that's the end of Tracy. Tracy is no more. And then, by the way, he'd also chopped off Peter's toes. By the way, I forgot about that bit. That's why Peter was sat on the floor. He chopped his toes off with a shovel. So he drags off Tracy. Tracy's dummy. Drags that off in one direction. And then he picks Peter up, drags him off into the this little outhouse, and then we see the top of Tracy's head there. The farmer comes back out for it. By the way, the director says this is an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because he puts Peter up on a hook. And anyway, right, Andrew and David, they've arrived at the farm gate. They're climbing over as well. Why don't they just unlatch the gate? Don't know. They find Peter's wallet. So they know they've come in this direction. They find the farmhouse. So they go over the moors, the fields to the farmhouse. And then Andrew's saying, this is farmland. We should watch for traps. And then he steps in a bear trap. Don't get many bears in England, but never mind. Steps in a bear trap. So he's injured now. He's fine, but he's injured. But next time we see him, he's got no sleeves on his coat. And apparently off screen, he's torn the sleeves off his coat and used them as a tourniquet wrapped around his calves. And he's also found a walking stick from somewhere. Right, so they arrive at the farm. Here we go. He finds Peter's toes. So he's like, crikey. That's the Peter's behind him. If he turned around, he'd see Peter hanging on his hook. Yes, maybe it's one of those big cats. It could be. Oh, for one of those big cats. Yes, because they're around. Get off. Go. Get away. Oh, stop it. Pause. Stupid thing. Anyway. So he's wondering what's happened to his brother. But as I said, if he turns around, he doesn't actually turn around. But there in the background, blurred, there's Peter hanging on his hook. We don't actually turn around and see him because he gets distracted. Looks over there, he sees the door move. That door move down there. So they go and check that out. Or David goes to check it out. And this is where he finds lots of heads, as well as Tracy's top of her head. Find that. And Andrew finds the rest of Tracy. And this is where we find the newspaper articles there. Farmer disfigured. There we go. A local farmer was severely disfigured in a farming machine. A accident at Craggy End Farm near Parsons. Don't know. Green. Can't really make it out, can we? Never mind. And then we're getting glimpses of his disfigurement because of his accident. Authorities close accident farm. And you see pictures of his family, and he's scratched his own face out. It's obviously must be after the accident. The photos of his people. People assume that he's kidnapped and tied up. He's taken photos of them. Anyway. This is the diary. It finds the diary of the farmer's wife. She said the kids have found a girl tied up in the cellar or something like that, and they found that he's been cutting skin off people and cutting people's faces off. They found a man with his face cut off and all that. So he's been wearing other people's faces. We see some photos of that shortly. There we go. I think he's going to hurt us, and they're going to flee, and that's probably where the suitcase with "You Will Never Leave Me" comes from. I don't know what happened to the farmer's wife. I presume he killed her. We find out what happens to his daughters. Anyway, what's he finding here now? Oh yes, he's finding Tracy's body, and he's finding Tracy's head at the same time. There's a body, look, with a severed head. And he finds the rest of her. There's David. There we go. So he comes in now. There's Andrew into this little room where David is, and he finds a jacket. He says, "Oh, a jacket." Just puts it on. Obviously it fits him. He's a big fella, isn't he? It fits him. But then he finds a light switch. He puts the lights on, and he turns round in the jacket, and we see that it's the Chinese one's jacket with the tiger on the back. You can't see. You did. Take my word for it. It's him. This is where they see all the heads. Lots of heads in the corner. There we go. And he says one of them's moved. Apparently, one of the heads as well is well, I don't know if it's the director. It might be that one actually. I think he said you can't see it. Yeah, the director said you can't see it. One of the heads is the director, but he said you can't see it. Andrew says one of them moved, and we see that it's the farmers down there as it pans down. That one moved. Which one? And then we find out which one. The ugly one. They're all ugly. Come on then. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, right, he's off. Right. So he bursts out of the corner, does the farmer. Throws David around a bit. Throws him outside, and then comes at him with a pickaxe and pins him to the ground with a pickaxe. And Wingrace says, "Damn, that's a lot of people that happen upon a farm in the middle of nowhere." Yeah, they do, don't they? It's like in that Wrong Turn, isn't it? Is it Wrong Turn? Where there's like all those cars parked in the people that they've caught over the years. Anyway, in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, so he's got David with the pickaxe. He's pinned him to the ground with his pickaxe through his leg. Andrew tries to escape, but stands on a rake. So the old rake trick, and the rake comes up and lands on his nose, so he staggers back. And the farmer picks up the rake and whacks Andrew at the back of the head with the rake, and luckily doesn't kill him. He just like scalps him a little bit of skin off in his hair. But anyway, off he goes. He runs away. Does Andrew? Farmer in pursuit. Director says there were loads of rats on this part. Loads of rats. As Andrew's running away. He runs into this area. It's like a stables or something, isn't it? I don't know what it is. Some sort of animal pen. Anyway, as he's running away, a phone rings in the court. It's the Chinese assassin's phone. We know it's his because it's got the same ringtone. It had like an SOS ringtone, that sort of ringtone. So we know it's his. So Andrew answers it, and it's his dad. He says, "Dad, come and help me. I'm at this farm in the middle of nowhere, and there's a madman chasing after me." In a minute. Yeah. But before he can, say anything else, they've gone too far. There we go. Before he can say anything else, there he goes. The farmer appears and gets him in the willy with his big chopper. Gets him in the chopper with his chopper and starts hacking away at him. Look, some CG blood. There's Peter hanging on his hook. I don't know if he's actually, the hook is in his skin or if it's just hooked on his clothes. I don't know. It doesn't. I presume it's hooked through his skin because he's in a lot of pain. He's got his toes missing as well. They're all losing a lot of blood, aren't they? A lot of clarets going on the floor. But he wakes up here. There's Peter because he sees him, and David sees him. Says, "Peter, I'm in a lot of pain," and he can't get the pickaxe out. And so Peter manages to unhook himself. As we see, wow, lifts himself up. He must be stronger than he looks. And unhooks himself and goes crawling out. Oh, he wrapped some stuff around his foot, by the way. Anyway. I like to imagine that farmer spends most of his days working out at the gym to get that strong. Well, they always are strong, aren't they? A madman has the strength of 10, as they say. Anyway. Oh, wrong thing. There's a wrong thing. There we go. Peter comes crawling out really slowly towards David, and he even says, "This is taking forever." And David's like, "Come on, hurry up." So they're finally reunited, and he pulls the pickaxe out. I'd have left it in myself, I don't know, but I'll put a tourniquet on first, because that's probably gone right through his femoral artery, hasn't it? Probably. So he'd bleed out and be dead within seconds, wouldn't he? I've watched Band of Brothers. I saw what happened when that fella got shot with a Luger in the thigh. Anyway, they get the pickaxe out and they go into the cottage eventually. They think they're going to die. Oh, aye, there's a shooting star here. See if we can see it. I couldn't see it when they're watching the DVD earlier on. The director went, "Oh, and a lovely shooting star." And I went, "Where? I didn't see it." So let's see if we can see it here. So I'll just press play. See if we can see a shooting star. Oh, yes, I saw it. Couldn't see it on the DVD. I saw it then. It went down there. It went that way. That way. Oops. Anyway, they think they're going to die, but then David decides, "No, we're not going to die." He gives that's the deeds. He's handing over the deeds to Mum's house to Peter. But before that, we see the farmer is caught up with. We know he caught up with Andrew because they were killing him, wasn't he? He's cutting him up. That's what he's doing. He's cutting up Andrew. His big, there we go, with his big chopper, big knife. Adzi, is it an adzi? I don't know. So he's cutting him up. Oh man, he's doing this is the homage. There we go. The homage to Predator. There we go. So he's taking Andrew's head and his spinal cord. His spinal column ripped from his body. A fitting end for the Prince of Powder. That's a Predator 2, isn't it? All right, so they decided, and David's decided they're not going to die. They're going to escape and, all that. He wants his boat. So they go back into the house. They've got to work out what's going on. Work out a way to escape. They're searching the house. He puts a tourniquet on his leg, finally. Yeah. And he finds this room. He sniffs. Doesn't sniff as well as Jennifer Ellison did. But he finds this hidden room. Well, it's not a hidden room. It's just a room. But where the smell's coming from. Meanwhile, what's Peter up to? Oh, he's hearing noises clinking and clanking down in the cellar. He doesn't go and check just yet, but he can hear it. do? Oh, right. David's gone into this other room, and there's all photos of the farmer and his wife. And then we see other stuff. Then we see the body parts strewn around. There we go, faces that have been cut off. I think we see photos of the farmer and making other people wear the faces as well. So obviously, terrified and all that. There we go. Because he's gone quite mad. His disfigurement. Anyway, so that's all shocking. And David sees the farmer coming back through the window, and he calls down, "The farmer's coming back." And they can't see him out the window, but then Andrew's head comes flying through the window. There it comes. And so they're shocked about that. It's Andrew's head. That's what he says. And then the farmer arrives, and he throws David about a bit. He likes throwing David about. And then he gets Peter in a headlock, and he gets a knife, and he's probably going to cut Peter's face off, isn't he? That's probably what he's about to do. But David stops him. He finds there we go, finds one of the photos that he'd seen upstairs, and he starts tearing it, and it makes the farmer stop. If get down in the cellar, or I'll tear this in half. And he keeps tearing it, and the farmer doesn't move. Tells Peter to go and grab the dresser and move it so they can, lock him in the cellar under the trapdoor. But then David just rips the photo in half as he rips through the face. In a minute. There we go. As he rips through the face of his wife, enrages the farmer. In a minute. There you go. As he rips through the face, the farmer gets enraged, and he picks up the pickaxe and drives it into David's chest. David dies, but he gets the photo back. So Peter can't believe it. His brother's dead. There he is. Andy Serkis is CGI's apparently. Another bit of CG in the film because he blinked. So the CG his eyes. And he says to the farmer, says, "You bastard, you've killed my brother," or words to that effect. And the director said when they did the airline version of this film, that it called him something else. Bag of wind, you bag of wind, you've killed my brother. I don't know about all the other stuff that's being said, but anyway. So what does he do? I can't remember. Oh, he gets that rope from over there, and he see if I'm too far now. And gets the farmer around the throat. Look, got that going too fast, haven't I? Too slow now. Yeah, not normal speed. There we go. Gets the farmer around the throat. He's throttling him with a rope, but the farmer, throws him off, and he goes down the cellar. Does Peter? There we go. Well, a stuntman does. But the rope's down there as well, dangling down there. So he grabs hold of the rope and pulls I think the trapdoor shuts as well. There we go. The trapdoor shuts, and Peter's still pulling on the rope from under the trapdoor, and he pulls the farmer over. The farmer pulls the dresser over onto himself, and Peter throttles the farmer from below, and we think he's dead. Then that's it. The farmer is no more, or is he? And then Peter can't get out now because the farmer's, his farmer's bodies and the dresser and thing is blocking the trap door. So he's got to go down into the cellar now. So he goes down. He's got his lighter. He's wondering what he's going to find down here in the cellar. And the lighter goes out. And he lights it again. In a minute. When you're ready. On, you're gonna light the bloody thing. But in slow motion or something. I don't know. Oh, you must be joking. Right, it's gonna come on now. I must have it in slow motion or something. I'll speed it up. There we go. There we go. We find out who's down in the cellar, and there's the Korean fella. and it's the farmer's daughters, and they're eating him, so they've turned into cannibals down in the cellar, and they're going to get David, as we'll see. Oh, there, you must be joking. And then they get him, his light goes out. That's the end of the film, or is it? Or is it? So let's spin it on. Because there's an after credits scene. So we get through all the credits. Get through all the credits. There's an after credit scene, which don't really make a great deal of difference to the film. We're nearly there. Yes, I'm going to have to play it from now on, aren't I think. Hang on. So there we go. So we start with dawn has broken. We get to, it's playing. I forgot to call it. That Peer Gynt. That music from Peer Gynt by Grieg, and we're listening to that and seeing the lovely Yorkshire countryside. I presume it's the Yorkshire countryside. A car arrives with the number plate Arnie, or ARN1E. So this is obviously Arnie. So his muscle gets out. And then we see Arnie comes out. And it's we find out who portrays Arnie in the flesh. There you go. It's Stephen Burkov. We don't say anything. They've arrived at the farm. Remember, they spoke to Andrew. He must have traced the call or something. I don't know. But anyway, he's got there. But then they hear a scream, and then the farmer comes running out with his pickaxe. Here we go. And, strikes. And the film ends. That's it. Fade to black. That's it. Did he kill Arnie, or did the thugs get the guns out and blow him away? Don't know. In the Hall of the Mountain King. No, not that one. That. That one. That one. Is that in the Hall of the Mountain King? I don't know. But anyway, Peer Gynt it's from, apparently. So maybe that's the end of the film. It's a jolly wheeze. It's not the best film in the world, but it's amusing if you watch it. I haven't done it justice. You've really got to watch it because it's funny. As I said, hilariously gory, horribly funny, deliciously dark laughs, and it's a lot of fun. I like it. So we'll leave it there. Hang on, pressing the wrong button. What am I doing? There we go. Make myself big so I can get rid of that. I'll remove that car. It says Finn. Finn, question mark. I forgot to do that. Anyway, so so the creepy villagers were just creepy villagers. Yeah, we never saw anything. Never saw anything of them. I thought they were going to come back. When I first watched it, I thought something's going to happen. The villagers are either going to come and save them, or the villagers are in on it, or they're feeding him, people that pass through the village. But anyway, I don't know. Is it morning mood? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, that's the cottage where everybody dies, apparently, apart from the farmer. But it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? It's just a bit of fun. It's not to be taken seriously. It's not some great, filmic work. But it's just a bit of fun. Right, we will leave it there. Give it a go. If you can find it, give it a watch. It's fun. It's fun. And Andy Serkis gives a great performance in it. I think he's brilliant in it as Andy Serkis. I think they all are. Reese Shearsmith's always good. But like I say, watch Inside Number 9 is always good in that. But like Andy Serkis gives a great performance. And so does Jennifer Ellison. You won't think, petite little, curvy lady with the foul mouth. But anyway. Wingrace says, has this guy made anything else worth watching? As I said, I've not seen anything. Hang on, let's have a look. It is his IMDb. I'll tell you what, I will put it over on this side and I will share the page and then we can see it. So I'll make myself little again. There we go. Paul Andrew Williams. Right, so what's he done then? He's known for London to Brighton, Song for Marion, The Cottage, and Filth. Filth starring, is that what's his face? Charles Xavier. I forgot his name now. The young version. Anyway, it's got 2 films upcoming. Well, a TV miniseries called Archie and something called Close Enough. I don't know. But as I said, it's done a lot of TV stuff I've never heard of. It's been done Broadchurch, The Eichmann Show, Intruder. I presume there's a lot of this, most of this is English, British stuff. Cherry Tree Lane, I think I've seen that. Cherry Tree Lane, and I think it's quite good. I think. Yeah, James McAvoy. I think that's who it was, wasn't it? Hang on, see y'all. Is it Phil? Where is it? Where's Filth gone? Why ain't it there? Oh, you got a producer on it, that's why. Right. Let's click on it. Yeah, it is James McAvoy. Yes, it is. Yes. Anyway, where were we? But yes, Cherry Tree Lane. I think I've seen that one. Let's click on that. A couple is terrorized by a gang who is hunting their son. Yeah, I've seen that one. It's not bad. Not bad. It's like, a home invasion, horror film, thriller, whatever. It's not bad, is that? So, yes, he has done that one. So that's 2 films I've seen by him. But, yeah, apart from that, it's mostly TV stuff. I don't know what that London to Brighton is. A train trip. I don't know. Anyway, so there we go. So, anyway, right, I'll leave it there. Right, so I'm going to go now and have a rest. So, thanks for watching. Thanks, Wingrace, for joining in. And thanks, Archmage Frey, for joining in on Twitch. And whoever he is. And Joshua, thanks for joining in. And we had DJ, didn't we, briefly earlier on. And me. So, thanks for indulging me in my hobby. Right, so I'm going to go now. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee. By the way, I forgot to mention, I've got a Patreon. I'm going to bloody go on about it. I've got a Patreon there. We've got to put the logo up there. I think I've got a banner for it as well with the link. There we go. We'll show that. I've got a Patreon. I've not much on it at the moment. I've just one video. It's just I'm just going to put stuff on there, stuff that I can't put on YouTube. I'm going to do like commentaries for films and stuff, a bit like Mystery Science Theatre 3000 type stuff, like old films and stuff. I'm going to watch classic old B movies and stuff like that and do like running commentary on them. And I'm going to put them on Patreon. So just check out the link. And if you find it interesting, I think you can do like a free 7-day trial or whatever. But it's up there. So anyway, so I just thought I'd share that. And the link, I put the link anyway in the description. I think I have anyway. I will do anyway. I will do. Right, so I'm going to go now, definitely. Woot, says Joshua. I'm definitely going to go there now. What was that? Ooh, a special after credit scene. Yes, it was. And it faked us out, yes. And it is Happy Father's Day. Yes, it's Father's Day this weekend. Why? In America, you have the same Father's Day as us, but not the same Mother's Day. They're different times a year. That's weird, isn't it? Don't know why. I've got a card. It's not off my son, because my son never gets me anything. He don't remember stuff like this. I don't expect him to. Let me get rid of that. I don't expect him to, but I've got. I presume one of my sisters has sent it. It's come through the post. A Happy Father's Day card, some lovely handwriting. I presume one of my sisters has sent it. Bless them. Right, I'm definitely going this time. Shall I play the outro again, or shall I do a different one? So have I got a different one? Can't do the Monday Moan. What others have I got?
Will Wheaton.
That's no good, is it? Anyway, never mind. Right, I'm going to go this time, definitely. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a look at my Patreon. As I said, there's only one thing on there at the moment. Well, there's 2, but it's the same thing. One's a YouTube version of it, and one's a uploaded to Patreon version, which is better, in my opinion. Anyway, right. So I'm going now. So as I get again, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.